So, welcome to our webinar today. This is How to Look Great and Spend Less. My name is Helen Barada. I am Director of Development with First Place for Health, and we are so blessed to have you joining us today. Let us open in prayer. Oh Lord Almighty, we thank you so much for today, and we desire, Lord, to grow closer to you, to understand how we might be able to look great and spend less. Use our treasure wisely, Lord, and look the best that we can, Lord. And we thank you that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. We thank you so much. And I know from my experience knowing Jill that she really is able to help us embrace how you made us exactly how we are, Lord. So I ask that you be with our speaker, Jill, today. And we ask this for in the mighty name of Jesus. So, Jill Swanson, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
You guys, I want you to know I spent a whole day with Jill, and she made me feel awesome. I even actually had her help me pick out my next hairdo, the do I have now, the little bang and stuff. She helped me buy the shirt. She even helped me figure out what way to wear this necklace. So I just want you to know you are so fortunate to get to spend an hour with her. And if you ever have an opportunity to use her as an image consultant, I highly recommend it. You will leave her presence feeling just like God made you so special and beautiful. So, Jill, what are we going to learn today, Jill?
Oh my goodness, we are going to really focus on how to look great and spend less, how to look like a million without spending it.
Very cool. That's awesome. So, where do we begin?
Okay, well, why don't we start out by talking about where we're at right now, how we feel about the way we look today, because one of the things I get from people oftentimes is when people write me, they'll say, okay, I am having a crisis. I'm having a situation where I don't feel good about the way I look right now. I need something to perk me up. And so what I try to get people to do is start thinking about what are you trying to move away from in your look and in your wardrobe and in how people perceive you. And what are you trying to move towards? So I'd like to do a little exercise with everyone to kind of get their mindset working in that direction. So for starters, Helen, did we do a grid to show them how to set this up? Because I'm going to have them draw a tic-tac-toe board, just like you're going to play tic-tac-toe with somebody. And in the middle of that board, I want you to write old me. Do we have an example? Oh, here we go. The old me. Okay. Now in this board, I want you to start filling out the squares, or you can just write these down for now, just on a piece of paper. You won't have time to probably put this together. But I want you to start thinking about what are you trying to move away from? And Helen, are we able to get some feedback from people on this too?
Yes. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I would love for you guys in the chat box that we just practiced putting where our states and where we're from, what in a one word or one or two words, what are you moving away from? What do you not want to look like, or who don't you want to look like, or what is it that you want to stop moving from? And you can just type that in the chat box, and I'm actually going to put some of the things that you say up on the screen so we can see what we're all wanting to move away from.
And let me give you another example. For me, sometimes I have to say I need to start moving away from just buying things because they're on sale and settling. Oftentimes we settle for something that isn't really the best for us. So think about, and maybe there's a look you're trying to move away from. Maybe you're trying to move away from dressing too young, or maybe it's the other way around, dressing too old.
We're getting stuff. We got big clothes, sloppy, stretch pants.
Oh, yes.
What is gray color? I guess they must wear a lot of gray clothes. So,
And gray. Black would be another one. A lot of people want to move away from.
This person is dressing too young. So they want to dress appropriately, I guess. Is that right? So exactly. That looks good. Yeah. Too short. They said too short to cover their body.
They must be growing. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I don't blame them. I get that. All right, this person always is in suits, so I guess they're looking for something else to wear.
To break out of it. Yes. And along those lines, I could just give a couple of tips here. Breaking out of those suits, break them up in your closet. Use the jacket with something different. Use the pants and pair it up with a sweater. Good way to break up with your suits without losing that relationship completely.
All right, it looks like clearance clothes is another one. And,
oh, yes.
They have old hairstyle. So
yes.
that's a good one. Dumpy, someone's dumpy, baggy. There you go. That's a pretty good amount. So what do you think, Jill?
Okay, so we've got some good ideas. And were we going to put those up on the grid, or were we just going to?
I have them up on the grid. I can.
Okay, so some ideas of what we've got that people came up with. Frumpy, okay, that's very good. Sloppy, I like that. So when you're trying to change it up, what we've got to do is start. So now we've talked about what you're moving away from. Let's talk a little bit about what you want to move towards. Start thinking about what you want to look like from now on, okay, starting today. What's going to be the new you? What are you moving towards? Some examples of that is, I want to move towards when I walk in front of the mirror saying yes when I see myself, and that I like what I'm seeing, that I feel put together. So what are you moving towards?
All right, so it's time for you guys to, I'm going to stop share because I know it's easier. So what are you moving towards? What is, I got somebody who wants to move to classy. Yeah, that's
very good one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it can be a feeling, it can be a look. There's a lot of different ways of relating to that.
We got put together, classy, stylish. We got classy multiple times. Confident.
Confident, very good one. And when we look put together, we feel more confident.
And we have fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to write these in here, and I'm not doing a very good job spelling.
That's good. We didn't get a chance to practice how to do this part, so.
I don't know how much practice would help me with getting my spelling right. Okay, free and flattering.
Oh, I like that. And I can add another F to that. How about fresh? Does anybody want to just start looking fresh? I know up here in the Midwest where we still have snow, I decided to dress fresh today so I could feel like it was springtime anyway.
Well, somebody wrote fresh just when you said that. That's pretty good.
All right.
Yes, a lot of people like the fresh. Okay, well, that's good. We got a lot of good ideas.
So we got some ideas. And so I'm going to encourage you guys to carry on this experiment when you get home. And I want you to, or excuse me, when you get home, when we get off the air, I want you to finish up this grid that you're doing. And I want you to write the 9 different things that you're trying to move away from and the 9 things that you're trying to move towards. Now, once we have that established, I want you to start looking and creating what we call a style playbook. Now, I talked about this in the first chapter of my new book, Simply Stylish. And the idea behind this is so that you've got some kind of a goal of what you want to look like. So an example of a style playbook can be an actual book. Now, I've got one that is a loose leaf binder. And what I did is I went through catalogs and magazines. And when I see a picture that resonates with me, and let me get a little closer so maybe you can see this. I'll see a picture like her hair. I liked her hairstyle on this. I kind of like the overall white look of this outfit. Different colors that they used in these, the different ways they combine things together. My style playbook is just anything that inspired me. It could have been just an athletic look, or the way the way the makeup was put on the ladies. Your style playbook is meant to be an inspiration for you for your future wardrobe. So now that you've got all those words that you're thinking about and what you want to start looking like, start experimenting with words that are descriptive words of really 5 words that really hone in on who you are and what you want to look like. Then start pulling pictures, and you can do this on the internet. You can do a Pinterest page of your looks, of your style playbook. Some people do a big poster and they'll just do a collage and they put it in the front of their closet so that when they go to their closet, they can kind of keep that goal in mind, that this is really what I'm trying to look like. I actually have a picture that I ripped out of a magazine probably 3 months ago that is actually laying on the floor of my closet, but I look at it every day and I think, oh yeah, I like that look. That's what I'm leaning towards. And sometimes I'll just switch it out and find another picture. So I get lazy about always getting out a book to do it. Sometimes I just have to tape it up in the closet or put it somewhere where I can actually see it. But use this as inspiration. Okay, so now you've got your inspiration for the look you're going for. Why don't we talk a little bit about how your personality plays into all of this? Because I think that's important, that a person dresses their personality style. To know your personality style before you even start shopping. So you're probably saying, I thought this was going to be about saving money, but you've got to know yourself first and then dress accordingly. So in my book, I actually set up a personality dressing style assessment. It's a fun test that you can take that helps you determine what your dominant personality dressing type is. Now, tonight we're only going to talk about 4 different ones. And so we're going to go ahead and start talking about this right away, right?
Yeah. So do you want me to go ahead and do the poll now? You want me to, or you want to wait?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do the poll first.
I think. Yeah. So you're going to have a poll, and I'm going to launch the poll. It's about what your style is. And when I launch the poll, you'll have to do some voting. So we're finished the poll, and I just wanted to end the poll, and then I'm going to just tell everybody, share the results for those of you guys watching on the video. We have people that voted. 51% picked creative natural, 33% picked elegant classic, 12% soft romantic, and 4% bold dramatic. So there you go.
All right, well, since we only have 4% bold dramatic, let's start there and we'll work our way up, build up the enthusiasm for this. So the bold dramatic person, let's talk about this person. This is the risk taker who's not afraid of change at all. They use their influences in their wardrobe a lot of times can come from art, architecture, and just their imagination, and that's how they execute their look. Now, some of the details in this dramatic person can include, they're very minimalist. They don't like a lot of stuff hanging on their body. They keep it very simple. They exaggerate things considerably, and they have a tendency to like more of a sculptured look. Let me give you an example of that. Here we are. Okay, so I did use something with a bright color here, but notice this real big wide belt. This is probably a 2.5 to 3 inch belt. That would be something they do. They might use one bold color in an outfit. A lot of times they don't usually use a lot of prints, but if they use a print, it's very noticeable. It's very dramatic. So dramatic people have an air about them that is, there's something about them that people will look twice at them when they walk in the room. Their accessories are statement maker pieces like large scarves or big capes. They'll use a real contemporary looking purse in some cases, or very high style type of shoe. They're the people that wear hats with probably the greatest ease. So that's an example of what a dramatic looks like. Now, you might be saying, oh, now that she said that, I don't know if I'm so much of an earthy natural. Maybe I'm more of or a creative natural. Maybe I'm more of this dramatic style. The one part, since I mentioned that we can only do 4 categories tonight, in the book, when I broke this down, I actually broke it up into 12 different categories and gave you some explanations, not only of what these styles look like, but I listed out things like exactly what kinds of fabrics you want to be buying, a list of what kind of prints. I went into where to go shopping for your style to find a style that resonates with who you are, and also interesting things about accessories and details. So there's much more to this than what meets the eye. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't think I fit, you're not weird. You could be very easily a combination. Let me give you a few examples of dramatics. Dramatics would be somebody like Angelina Jolie, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Megan Fox, Kim Kardashian is a good example, Joan Collins, Melania Trump would be another good one. So those are people who carry off the dramatic look a little better than others. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the natural. How many naturals did we have? That was our majority, wasn't it?
Let's see. We had 51% of the people said creative natural.
That we have a very creative group out there today. That is very interesting. Now, the natural goes anywhere from the earthy and artsy all the way into the real sporty casual look. So there's a pretty big a variety within this, and it can even be a little bit of a bohemian influence as well. The look is comfort with more of an organic style. They usually like separates. Their details are usually anything that suggests a bit of the earth, or in some cases, the antique look. And their accessories can include things like the textured scarf that you see on this hanger that I'm holding up. A lot of times their jewelry has got an interesting mix of metals and maybe some natural stones like what we have in here. They like textured clothing. They like hammered metals. Oftentimes they're the ones that are wearing boots, and usually some of their favorite pieces of jewelry is something they bought at an art show, something unusual and different like that. Anything that's made out of, again, anything that might be naturally made out of the earth, they could wear twigs around their neck and they'd still look good. So natural people, their look can range. It can go into that. It can also be something, here's another example of a natural look. I'm going to hold this up real close so you can see it. We've got more of a woven belt with a hook line, and I don't know if you can see this, but the top of this tank top that I'm showing is actually looks like it's almost ripped through here, and it's got a little bit of sparkle in it, but it's very subtle, and it kind of has a worn look. Very common for a natural person to feel comfortable in a look like that. So examples of famous natural people, somebody like Jennifer Aniston, Chris Everett Lloyd, Julia Roberts is a very good example. Audrey Hepburn and Maya Angelou is another good example of a natural. So those are naturals. Now let's move on to the romantic. The romantic is the person that's soft, delicate. They can also be elegant, or they can even be glamorous. Again, there's a variety within this category. Their look is one that really projects femininity. It's grace personified. This is the woman who usually loves to wear dresses and skirts, and they do it with ease. Now, their details include a lot of lace, embroidery, pearls, flowers, floral prints. Give you a couple examples here. Here is a lace jacket with a little more feminine looking blouse underneath it. Floral prints, one of their favorite things is anything's got florals in it. And this is the year to be a romantic in the springtime, because I don't know if you've been out there shopping yet, but there is a lot of floral prints out on the market, everything from dresses and shirts into scarves. So if you want to freshen up your wardrobe for the springtime, that's something I would highly recommend. Other things that are things that romantics do is they'll choose accessories that are things like your retro looking handbags, something that's maybe from the 50s or whatever. So a little bit of a romance involved in that. Heirloom pieces, lace scarves, ballet flats, very common for them. Chiffon type of accents, and also high heels for that matter. So your famous romantic people, we're talking somebody here like Liz Taylor, Valerie Bertinelli, Jennifer Lopez, Taylor Swift, Marilyn Monroe, Eva Mendes, and also Dolly Parton is a good example of a romantic. Now, our last category is the classic. When I do this, a lot of times, in addition, and I did this in the book as well, in addition to giving you a personality test to help figure out what your personality dressing style is, I also ask a person what their favorite color is. Because if they're lying to me on one end of the perspective, I usually can figure it out based on what their favorite personality is in conjunction with that. So the classic person many times will choose blue as their favorite color. In fact, the truth is most people over the age of 6 will pick blue as their favorite color. But the classic person usually likes things that are simple, refined, and elegant. Now, their look is timeless, tailored, polished, and very put together. Their details also are more minimal. They like clean lines. They like things that are good quality. Oftentimes, the surface of their clothing, they like a more smoother type of surface. And they like things usually symmetrical, same on both sides. Accessories would include things that have sculpted shape, pendants, silk scarves, very quality looking belts, classy types of purses, an elegant watch, solitaires if they're buying a ring or have a stone hanging, something, oftentimes that's what they like. So let me give you an example of a classic look. Okay, this is a very classic looking jacket. It's double-breasted, got a very classy plain white blouse underneath it, and an interesting statement maker necklace. So classic doesn't mean boring. It means elegant. It means put together. Some examples of classic people, and I don't think you'll find these ladies boring at all, would be someone like Kerry Washington, Diane Sawyer, Michelle Obama, Kate Middleton, Michelle Pfeiffer. Those are people who look great in the classic design clothing. So now I'm wondering if that may have changed your perspective a little bit on what you see yourself as. It's real important that you pinpoint that you understand who you are before you step foot in a store and start shopping. Now, even before you start shopping, one of the things I want you to do is to go through and clean your closet, organize your closet, because you need to know what you have and where you're going. And we'll save this for talking about it a little bit more, perhaps in another seminar. But in every one of the books that I've ever done, Simply Beautiful, Out the Door in 15 Minutes, and now the new one, Simply Stylish, Look Great and Spend Less, there is a section in there for how to organize your closet, because this is paramount to looking and feeling put together. So do that first. Then we'll be ready to go out and start shopping. What do you think? Are we ready to move on?
I think so. And I definitely agree that the books are very helpful. Cleaning out your closet. I moved across the country, so that helped me clean out my closet. So, but Jill and I were just talking earlier because I spent a whole day with her in October. We went shopping together. I hired her to be my personal shopper for the day. And I'm telling you, it was awesome. We went to thrift stores, consignment stores, and she just was pulling clothes off the racks for me. And then I tried on and she's like, yes, no, okay, maybe. Will you fix that? Okay, if you'll fix that, you can have that kind of a thing. And I
Right.
do so. So anyway, but yeah, I
Well,
think
and that's a really good point, Helen, because one of the things too is I usually won't take somebody shopping unless I've seen some of their wardrobe to begin with, so that I can see what they're moving away from and what they're moving towards. Basically, that first challenge that we had at the beginning. So let's move on and talk about just exactly how to shop like a pro, and that it would be the what, where, when, and how to save money. So we're going to go down and start talking about how important it is to know what the golden shopping rules are. Now, do we have a poll for this one?
we do. So we want to know what shopping mistakes you make, so Jill has like a top 10 and we have picked 4. And so pick which shopping mistake you struggle with the most. And they are shopping when I'm depressed. Maybe you're trying to cheer yourself up, so let's go shopping. Shopping when you're stressed. Shopping with a people pleaser. How many people come home with clothes that they really wish they hadn't bought? And buying out of desperation, like, oh, I'm going to this thing, I have to buy. So those are the 4 options. There's 10 in the book if you want to see all 10 of them. We thought we picked the top 4 we thought you might have fun with. So it looks like 50%, just pick one. If you can't pick, just pick one. It's just for fun. This is not going to mean anything or go anywhere. It's just kind of a way of helping you guys think about what are your shopping mistakes? What do you do? And maybe you're like, I do all of these. It's terrible. So, all right, it's been open for almost a minute. So I'm going to give you 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here are the results. If you want to see, it's 61% are buying out of desperation, Jill. So
oh, no. We need to stop that.
Yeah, 16% are shopping when they're stressed. And then the next is shopping when they're depressed. And then we round it out with shopping with a people pleaser. So
interesting. Yes. And I think sometimes we do shop out of desperation, especially if there's a special event coming up. All of a sudden we're like, oh, I need something to wear and I haven't had time to go look for anything. And really it's hard when we get caught in that situation. Last time we were together, I talked a little bit about putting together what we called wardrobe pods, or wardrobe, what I call outfits on the hanger. When you get dressed, or if you can set up in your closet complete outfits where everything you need to go, and I'm just going to see if I've got something. Well, actually, most of these are set up like that. But everything you need to go with an outfit should be hanging on one hanger. So you've got one outfit for something that's dressy, one outfit for something that's semi-dressy, or what we call business casual, and maybe something that's casual but still looks good. So this has got the necklace on it, it's got the shirt, the blouse on it, and then it's got a jacket with it. And a lot of times if I'm going to wear black pants with this, and I wear black pants with most things, so the black pants are a given. But if you can set yourself up with a few outfits on a hanger like this in your closet for those different events, it's going to save you from buying out of desperation, because that truly is a problem. And I address that in a lot of different ways in the book as well. But let's talk about, before you go shopping, first of all, you need a list and you need a budget. So think about what's missing from your closet. What out of those lists of different events that I just talked about, business casual and dressing casual, what's missing? The missing component that you need. The second thing is, before you go shopping, I want you to dress for this adventure, because if you don't dress right, you're going to wear yourself out within the first hour. So when I take people shopping, and you know this, Helen, from when we shop together, I have a list of here's what I want you to dress. I don't want you to wear a lot of jewelry. I want you to wear a shirt that's very easy to slip on and off, much like she has on tonight. I want you to find slacks that are not tight around the ankles, or shorts you could wear, as long as they have a wider hole and they're easy to get in and out of. That's the important thing. So I'll tell people flared pants or a skirt usually can work pretty well if you don't mind wearing a skirt all day, and shoes that are easy to shoes that are easy to slip on and off, and also to walk in. The other thing is, wear a good bra, something that keeps the girls high and dry, and a pair of no-show panties underneath it. So here's your golden shopping rules. Number 1, before you buy anything, never buy anything on sale that you would not have seriously considered paying the full price for to begin with. In other words, love it or leave it. Don't pay sale price for it unless you're crazy about it, because oftentimes we fall more in love with the price than we do with the piece. And so if you're the type of person that you go shopping a lot at consignment stores like I do, you look at that consignment price and double the price, because that's usually what the normal price is going to be. So if the jacket is listed at the consignment store for $24, then say what I bought it for $48. Use that as your litmus test, but love it or leave it is what it comes down to. Rule number 2 is never buy a step lower in quality than what you're already accustomed to buying now. Because what will happen is if you go out and you say, oh, here, classic example, if I lose weight, first thing I'm doing is I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get myself something new and fun to wear, and I go down to Forever 51, and I'm thinking, okay, I need a great dress, and I'll just buy the first cute thing that I happen to see that's cheap, and I'll think that's going to be fun. I can wear that. Look, I can wear the size now that I couldn't wear before, so I'm just going to buy this and have some fun with it. Well, when we do that, oftentimes we end up buying a step lower in quality than what we're already accustomed to buying, because it's just a fling type of thing. And when you do that, you wear it once, it loses its shape, or it hangs, you wash it and it loses its shape. A lot of times it'll fade out. When you buy a step lower in quality, you don't always feel quality when you wear it. Oftentimes you can almost feel a little cheap, because it's like, well, this really isn't me. Why did I buy this? And I'm not saying don't buy things on sale and don't buy things at inexpensive stores, because you can find some good deals there. But don't fall prey to buying something that's a step lower than what you're wearing on every day. It just doesn't pay off. I've run into it many times with clients. Number 3, calculate your cost per wearing, okay? So when you go to buy something, you might be looking at perhaps a real fancy schmancy dress that was on the sale rack, and it was $50, and it was originally like $300, and now it's $50. How can you go wrong with a $50 dress that was $300? And you're thinking, well, hey, I could wear that to my Aunt Aggie and Uncle Johnny's 50th wedding anniversary. And let's see, where else could I wear it? I could wear it to well, I could probably wear it to my class reunion, and then I could wear it to, well, I could wear it to the graduation, but no, everybody in the family will have seen that. And before you start figuring it out, you're going, okay, so that $50 dress I might only be able to wear 2 times. Whereas you might end up investing in maybe a blazer that could cost you, well, let's say this is a really high quality blazer. Maybe it's going to cost you, a jacket like this might end up costing you $150 just for the jacket. And you're like, oh, that's way out of my budget. There's no way I'm going to spend that kind of money. But let's break that down. So this jacket could be worn year round. It's a lightweight wool, easy to wear year round. It's kind of a charcoal color. So again, the color can be worn year round. So let's say you can wear it maybe 30 times a year, because sometimes you're just going to wear it as a jacket to stay warm. Other times you might wear it as a business looking jacket. So we're going to wear it 30 times a year for 5 years. Now, if you start breaking that down, it's going to cost you $1 every time you wear this jacket. And that's if you only have it for 5 years. And most of my clothes, I can have anywhere from 10 to 15 years. If you don't change weights much, that makes a big difference. Then consider that wonderful $50 great value dress you got. It costs you $25 every time you wear it, because you only wear it twice. So calculate in your CWP, or what I call your cost per wearing. Okay, last tip, Magic 3 technique. The Magic 3 technique is, before you buy anything, ask yourself these 3 questions. Can I accessorize it or wear it 3 different ways? Okay, oftentimes we'll look at something and we'll think, well, sometimes it's just not even doable, because it can't be switched on and off with anything else. Oftentimes a dress, you might be a little bit limited, although you might end up with something like the dress that I'm showing here, which actually in essence isn't really a dress, because if I take this little jacket off and I remove the belt, well, maybe I remove the belt. Let's see here. I had this all, there we are. And I put it down where it's supposed to be. It's really a skirt. So that skirt can be worn at least 2 different ways right there. And sometimes you'll say, well, I could wear it with a t-shirt, but I could also wear it with a really nice dressy jacket and dress it up and make it look for something dressy. So can I accessorize or wear it 3 different ways? The second question is, can I wear it to 3 different events? Because oftentimes we might buy that that dressy dress we were talking about, that you might have a hard time figuring out 3 different places you can wear it in your life. A jean jacket is a great example of something that you could easily wear to 3 different events. Nowadays, this is very, very wearable for church in some cases. You can wear it to something very casual. You can wear it out riding horses, for that matter. So a jean jacket is something easily that fits into this category. The last question is, can I wear it 3 years stylishly? Okay. This jean jacket, probably very easily you could wear it 3 years stylishly. In fact, I tell people, if you're going to buy a jean jacket, buy it cheap, because usually you can get them at thrift stores and they still look as good, so to speak, as they did when they first came out of the store, off the store floor. So if you can get 3 out of 3 of those 3 things I just suggested, you're safe. It's a good investment. If you can get 2 out of 3 out of those magic 3 questions, you're still doing really good. If you can only get 1 out of 3, you might want to put it back on the rack. Okay, so those are your basic shopping tips, and I have many of those in the book. I think I actually have about 6 or 8 of them. But now let's talk a little bit about where to shop. Helen, tell them where we started out at when we went shopping when you were here.
Well, when I first I think we started at Goodwill or something, or a thrift store or consignment shop, some very thrifty place. I really liked it, as I recall. I think I actually got this at the very first store.
I think you did, as a matter of fact. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to make that clear. When I take somebody shopping, my clients aren't your hoity-toity millionaire type of people that you might think are coming to see an image consultant to shop. I'm better known as the budget fashionista, because I'm starting people out saying, okay, let's teach you how to shop, and I can dress you for a lifetime rather than buy you an outfit and only dress you for a day. So I start people at places like consignment shops and thrift shops. Reason being, I like to teach somebody what to look for, and there's a lot of different variety of brands there. But for many people, that is totally overwhelming. Like, do not take me there. I don't think I can handle that. I will never shop in a thrift shop or a consignment shop alone. But wait, there are ways to do this, and you can do it easily. So let's talk about the thrift stores. I had another author that I worked with who suddenly shot to stardom in her writing. She's actually from up here in the Midwest. She had been doing well with what she was doing, but all of a sudden her books became bestsellers, but she hadn't gotten her money for the books selling, because there's always a big long delay. If you happen to have a bestseller, you don't get your check until much later in some cases, or you'll get sometimes they'll give you a check early on, but in her case, she was waiting for the money to come in, and she said, Jill, I don't know what to do. I've got TV interviews that I've got to be on. I've got some internet interviews. I've got to do book signings, and I don't have any clothes that look good on me, that fit well for what I'm doing. She had recently lost some weight, so we need to take her shopping. So my first question is, what is your budget? Her budget was $200, and that was it. And we only had 4 hours to go shopping. So with 4 hours and $200, we went to the thrift stores. We went to Goodwill. We went to Savers. We went to Salvation Army. And when we got done, we purchased 18 pieces, all secondhand. And by the time we were finished and we started putting clothes together with the few things that we could use out of our old closet, we had 38 different outfits. So this can be done. So how do you shop? Well, the first thing is you need to learn to know what to look for when you get in these stores. And I've broken it down into great detail in each category in what I wrote, but let me give you some of the high points in the thrift stores. First of all, get quality fabrics made and what we call well-made garments. Okay, so when you look at that, feel the fabric, look at the garment. Is it sewn together well? Does the pattern line up in the garment? What does it feel like to you? And you know another trick I'll do? Oftentimes I'll look at the tag, and if it's a woven tag as opposed to a printed tag, that usually means it was more expensive, because they put a little more into that. To get the best selection when you're shopping in a consignment store, go in December and January, because people are getting rid of their clothes, especially in December, in part because they want to get those write-offs, those last-minute write-offs, tax write-offs. So a lot of times the junior league type of shops will have some really great deals in December and also in January, because people are cleaning out their closet at that point too. Some of the best buys that you can get in the thrift stores include things like dress slacks and jeans, that because the reason they're in there is people lose or gain weight, and those don't always get worn very much, so they get turned over much quicker than things like blouses and shirts. Those tend to look a little bit more worn out in thrift stores. So I usually look for dresses and jeans, and also, again, jean jackets, what we were just talking about. So then I also cover buyer beware tips, because there's some things you really got to watch out for when you go into these different kinds of stores too. And again, in light of our time, I'm going to skip over that. Consignment shops. 80% of my own wardrobe comes from a consignment shop. And size, when you go shopping in a consignment shop and in a thrift store, remember that size is relative, because people oftentimes have either altered it or it's been shrunken because it's been washed a few times. You need to consider looking one size higher than what you normally wear and one size lower than what you normally wear. And my rule in this, normally I tell people when they go shopping, if it doesn't fit, it isn't it. Just don't buy it. but that rule is overridden when it comes to shopping in consignment and thrift stores, because if it doesn't fit, it might still be good. You can always get it altered. You can look at the possibility of maybe the pants don't fit from the suit, but the jacket does. Hey, for the money, where are you going to find a nice dress jacket for $20? Even if you just have to let go of the pants. The whole suit costs $20, the jacket's still worth $20. So consider that as well. Your best buys in the consignment stores end up being oftentimes blazers and coats. So blazer, like what I have on, this is from a consignment store. Coats, a lot of my winter coats came from consignment stores, and moderate price jewelry. The piece I have on today, this is from a consignment store. Actually, this is from a consignment store. This is from a consignment store. And the pants are probably about 30 years old, but we won't go there. Okay, so those are your consignment store tips. Now, so the next place I move people to, let's go to the off-price stores. Now, what's an off-price store? That would be your TJ Maxx, your DSW, Marshalls, Steinmart, Nordstrom's Rack. Those places are great places to shop because usually the prices are 40% off what the retail price is. Now, one interesting thing, I was talking with somebody who worked at one of these stores, and they were telling me that the first thing they told their store employees when they come into work is that everything in that particular store has a defect in it. And it happens to be a store that I shop at very regularly. And I found that was very interesting because while I don't always see the defects, once in a while I catch them, but they're pretty minor in the clothing. But every now and then you'll try something on and say, this skirt is all wonky. What is the deal with this, that this doesn't button right or whatever? It's because oftentimes these can be store defects handed down from another department store to these off-price stores. So watch for that. When you shop in these stores, they seem overwhelming, especially you walk into TJ Maxx and there's just racks and racks of clothing. So here's the deal. You shop for color first and style second. Your eye can filter out color a lot faster than it can style. So when you're doing that, that's going to save you a lot of time as you're looking through the racks. So you think, okay, I like colors that are pink and lavender and blue. Don't look at anything else. Don't look at the black. Just go and look for the stuff that you really like and that you want. Okay, other stores in this category for off-price stores can include places like Target, Forever 21, H&M. However, you want to shop these stores when quality isn't that important to you. You're going to find, if you're going to TJ Maxx or Nordstrom Rack, those a lot of times you'll find a little better quality because they get the upper scale or upper end types of clothing. But don't discount going to places like Target and Forever 21 because you can find good deals on things. On things like raincoats and sweaters, nightgowns. There's, again, I have a whole list of other things to look for buying at these types of stores. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about department stores too while we're on this. I had to ask you, do you ever feel like you're being taken advantage of when you go to a department store and you pay full price in a regular department store? I do. I don't know about you, but doesn't it seem like there's always somewhere you can find a 20% off coupon if you use your credit card or if you happen to have a Retail Me Not on your phone, which is one of the apps that I use a lot. Oftentimes, you can get at least 20% off with a coupon or by using a credit card. There's this thing called a manufacturer suggested retail price, and I'm sure you've seen this before. And this is 80% of these prices that are called manufacturer suggested retail prices, which it says on the little sticker. 80% of them are a gimmick to pull you in and get you to spend the money. So let me give you a quick example. Okay, this happens to be a TJ Maxx find that I found, but it was also labeled, it's labeled as a regular department store brand. This is a jacket by Tahari. And when I flip it over and I look at the little tag on here, it says that it was $129. It says MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price. That's what they're suggesting that they sell this for, is $129. However, I know that when this went to Macy's, maybe it was that price for about a week or two at the most, and then it dropped down. And then it probably dropped down again. And when it got to TJ Maxx, I got it for $35, $34.99. Now, $34.99 sounded a little bit more like what I was willing to spend on something that's a new fad, which is these fun bell sleeves that are in. But you want to be very careful that you're not, it's kind of like the difference between paying full price and full price. And oftentimes I think we're fooled into paying the full price or thinking that we're not paying the full price. It's like saying, it's interesting because women will usually pay $5 for a $10 item if it's on sale, and they won't hesitate to do that. But a man will pay $10 for a $5 item that he really needs. We have a tendency to fall more in love with the price than the piece. We're women. It just happens that way. typical markdowns in a department store go from 15% to 30% to 50% and sometimes 70%. And this adjustment is every 10 to 14 days. So if you can hold out and you don't have a hard size to get in the stores, patience can really be a virtue. How to shop these stores. Shop the back of the store first, because that's where those sale racks are usually at, and shop the perimeter, the outside edge of the store. And here's one of my favorite tips. When you go in the store, most people shop from right to left. When you walk into the opening of the store, they'll shop from right to left. Shop from left to right. Okay, so you're going to be going clockwise. If you go clockwise through the store, you're likely to get the better deals because they put the expensive stuff in the right side of the store oftentimes when you're going, because that's how our brains lead us to do. And what to buy in these stores: get undergarments because you want to get quality undergarments, leggings, boots. Pay more for the stuff that you wear more for. Boutiques is another place. I do shop boutiques, but the problem with the boutique, the description, oftentimes what do they say? The definition of a boutique happens to be a small store that has 4 dresses, 6 belts, 8 scarves, and 1 sales lady who instantly knows whether or not you're going to buy anything. They can be very intimidating, but on the other hand, they could be a lot of fun to shop at because they're going to have the unique stuff, the new stuff that nobody else has got. So save those things for conversation accessories or class reunions, things that are really fun. And I can see that we're running slow on time here. What have I missed to cover?
Well, I think you've covered it all. We do have one question, and I did want to let people know, if you wanted to write a question, if you could use, I didn't tell you what to do, there's a Q&A part on here, but somebody did put a question in the chat. So, but if you have a question for us, if you could type it in the Q&A, it will help me keep track of what questions we've answered. But Anna wants to know, how many outfits should you have? Like what's your number? What number of outfits should you have?
Well, that's debatable. It depends on the lifestyle that you have, because if you live in a place where we have 4 seasons, you need many more outfits than somebody who lives, like, say, where you're at in Hawaii. So you have to consider that. I would say, if I had to give a number, I would say 7 outfits for each season. So 7 good outfits for wintertime, 7 good outfits for summertime if you're in a changeable season. If you're in a situation where you're the same weather all year round, I'd probably say 14. Now, that's a very minimalist wardrobe, okay? And if you're the type of person that's out in front of the public, like the author friend that I had come and I worked with on her wardrobe, she needed a lot of variety because she was going to be in situations where she'd see the same people more than once. So you have to consider what you do as well. And it's got to be where you feel comfortable.
That makes sense. Well, does anybody else have any other questions? I know one of my questions was, Jill, what's the difference as far as jacket length? What jacket length? Is it just depend on your body style? It
definitely depends on your body style, yes. Somebody who's got a long waist like I do and short legs are going to carry their weight right here in the thigh area. So usually I rarely will wear a jacket that's going to end right here, because you'll see that bump where my thigh's at. I've got a pretty good camouflage going on here with these pants. But on the other hand, I will wear a shorter jacket if I've got a shirt that's sticking out underneath a little bit to hide that. Someone who is short-waisted, where they carry most of their waist on their weight, and long-legged, often can wear their jackets up here and show off their beautiful long legs, and sometimes that will conceal this area of the body. But again, that's something that's really unique to the individual. So when I'm talking jacket length with somebody, I'm usually giving them, you can do this, but it's kind of like sometimes it takes 3 ifs and a maybe to make something work for someone. How about if I cover a few ideas on when to spend and when to splurge? You want some tips on that? Okay, because sometimes you've got to wonder, well, when does it make sense to invest in clothes, and when can you go cheap and still look chic? All right, so first of all, let's talk about splurging. I tell people to splurge on the upper half of their body. Jackets and blazers oftentimes form the outside basis of the upper half of our body, so you want to spend your money there and save your money on t-shirts. T-shirts don't have to be expensive. Oftentimes I'll tell people go to Target and buy a decent t-shirt. The thing you have to be careful on t-shirts right now, though, is the fabric is micro thin, and it is not flattering for a lot of people. And after it's been washed once or twice, you're going to notice that either it shrinks or it gets those little balls on it. So if you're looking for a piece to go a little less expensive on, or to go cheap on, get a fabric that's got a little heavier hand. See, when I shake this around, you can tell this isn't a real cheap thin fabric. It's got some hand to it. So it stays nice a lot longer, and it can hold up to the washings. The next thing that I tell people on splurge and spend is splurge your money on good quality leather goods. They're going to stand the test of time. So whether this is shoes or a good purse, or in some cases for some people a briefcase, I bought this. This is a excuse me, just drew a blank. This is a Brighton purse. I got this at a consignment store, so I didn't have to spend a lot of money on it. It was still $50 at a consignment store, which is quite expensive, but their new purses are well over $200. A purse like this stands the test of time. It's got a pebble leather on it, so it doesn't show any scratches. It's got a good zipper on it. And you know, when I bought this purse originally, it looked like this. It was in pretty good shape. I carried it for 2 or 3 years, and it started getting very worn out because I was carrying it every day. I don't switch my purses. The hardware was starting to wear out on it. The zipper tab had pulled off of it, and the little binding that's around the edges here, the cording, that was starting to come apart. And I was so frustrated, but I really love this purse. So I went into a Brighton store and I said, you know, I want a purse like this. I really like this purse. It's the right size. It sits up when I set it down, but I'm wondering what you have that's like it. And the lady said, I'm sorry, they don't sell that anymore. But she says, do you know you can send that into the manufacturer and get it refurbished for, like, I think it was $60 at the time. I said, no. And she goes, yeah, you send it in and they will fix it up like brand new. And sure enough, I got a brand new purse. Basically, they redid all the hardware. They even redid the whole strap on it, re-threaded this brand new purse for $50 to $60 for a purse that I carry at least 6 months out of the year. So spend your money on your purses. Where do you save your money? On accessory fads. Right now, the big thing is those tassel earrings. You've seen those out and about. I'm not quite ready to spend a lot of money on a pair of tassel earrings. I'm more inclined to go down to the fabric shop and buy some little tassels that you hang on the curtains and put them on a set of earrings. But go cheaper on the accessory fads. Splurge on, yes, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions. So 2 of them are on shoes. So the one is, what are your thoughts on shoes? Should you buy them at consignment shops or new? And then the other person is, are there any rules or tips about shoes?
Both. Okay, great. So first of all, best shoe you can own, a shoe that matches the color of your leg. I think we talked about this a little bit last time. This is called a nude color shoe. This particular one I did end up buying at a department store. I spend my money on my shoes because my feet are to the point where I have to have happy feet. So there's 2 trains of thoughts. I have found some excellent shoes at consignment stores, as long as they're in good shape. And most consignment stores, you look at the sole of the shoe to see what kind of shape that's in, and that'll tell you how much it's been worn. I've spent a lot of money on a good pair of sandals. These are Taos sandals. They're great. They've got Velcro closures, so you can adjust them to where you need them. And this particular sandal can also be worn with a foot inset. What's that called? The thing that if you have orthotic, thank you. You can use an orthotic as something like this, and it doesn't show. So you can spend well over $100 for a shoe like this, but you're going to end up wearing it a lot more because it's comfortable. What do I go cheap on shoes? Flip-flops. Flip-flops are flip-flops. I mean, there's only so much you can do unless you live in them and you need, again, some sort of an orthotic or some support in it, then spend a little more on it. But when it comes to shoes, that's where I do tell people to spend their money. Now, yes, I do get them at consignment stores. I check them over real good. I had one pair that smelled like smoke, a pair of boots I bought once. Hey, I had to air them out for 6 months before I got the smoke smell out. So you got to think about, is it going to be worth it if there's a funky smell to them? But other than that, I could easily say either. Another question.
Another really good question is, where can we buy your books, Jill?
Oh, what a nice question to ask. I'll tell you what, you can buy them on my website for starters, which is JillSwanson.com. Please visit. There's all kinds of fun facts and information in there. And if you go to my website and you type in the code SIMPLE, like the word Simply Stylish, only SIMPLE, Simple will get you a discount on the book. You can also buy it on Amazon. It just got put up on Amazon. Today is the first day. So if you want to buy it there, you can certainly do that too. I don't know if they're going to give you a discount though. You can check it out and see. So yeah, good question.
Right. And then somebody asked, do we ship to Canada? And I was thinking, do you ship to Canada, or would it be better to go to Amazon? Because I know you pay for shipping on your website.
Yeah, and it is expensive to ship to Canada. I think it cost me $16 when I shipped a book out there last week. So that is added on. So you can check my website and see how that compares to Amazon. I would say check, because I don't know what Amazon is charging to ship there at this point.
Okay.
Can I give you one more splurge?
Sure. I have 3 more but go ahead. You have 4 minutes.
Okay.
So one more splurge
Okay.
and then 3 more questions.
Okay. So cosmetics, I did a whole section on what to splurge and save, and I did a cosmetics section in the book on how to apply your makeup this time and colors to buy for clothing. But if you're going to splurge on makeup, I usually will say you can splurge on your foundation, get something that feels good on your face. I've had good luck with Revlon, but sometimes people need something different like Clinique or one of the higher end products. Save on your cleanser, because hey, it's going to just get washed down the drain anyway. It's just got to be able to take your makeup off. So you don't have to buy an expensive eye makeup remover or an expensive cleanser to have that work. Save on your mascara. Go cheap. You should get a new tube of mascara once every 3 months. So my mascara comes from the drugstore oftentimes. Splurge on stuff that really works. Now this is a product that happens to be by Roden and Fields, and it's called Enhancement Lash Boost. This is it looks like an eyeliner when you open it up. You paint it on your lash lines, and after about a month to 2 months, I guarantee most people are going to see a change in the length of their lashes. It works as well as the prescription formula Latisse. So there are certain products that are worth spending money on. Some of them not so much. So you have to be a little careful on that.
Well, I'll give a shout out for Lash Boost because I use it too. And in fact, I have to curl my eyelashes now because it touches my sunglasses. So it's like crazy how I'm just saying, try Lash Boost.
And Lash Boost does work. Yes,
And
Rodan and Fields.
you can message me or Vicky Heath if you need somebody to refer you to for Rodan and Fields. We'll be glad to hook you up. Or maybe there's somebody here, but that's awesome. Now, the next question is about washing your clothes. How often do you wash clothes?
Oh, good question for me, because I don't wash them that often. And my mother said, don't be telling people that. But the truth is, when you wash your clothes, you wear them out. If you can wash, the clothes that are closest to your body, your undergarments, yes, wash those on a regular basis, please. But the clothes that you're wearing as secondary, or even something like this will not get washed very often. In fact, I don't think this has been washed since I bought it. I will take it off, I will air it out, I wear a good deodorant, and it's fine. Jeans, the guy who runs Levi Corporation, the CEO of Levi, said he never washes his jeans. And I'm not surprised by that, because today we don't wear our jeans out to work. Well, our regular dress jeans, you don't wear them outside to work in the fields and get all dirty where they have to be cleaned. Wear some decent underwear underneath them, take them off, shake them out. Sometimes even I'll run them in the dryer to fluff something up a little bit. But generally speaking, I recommend don't overwash your clothes, because you wear them out and it costs you a lot of money. Wash what smells and keep the rest. Thought out things is what I do.
I agree with that. I just wear undergarments and stuff so you don't have to wear out your clothes. We did get a comment that it's not showing up yet for Amazon in Canada, but Jill literally just got Amazon to load her book today on the US. And my experience as an author publisher is that it takes Amazon a little while to get to their other places. So if you are in Canada, you might want to wait maybe a week or so to see if it shows up on their Amazon Canada. So,
okay. Good point.
But we have a point saying it's not there. All right. Next is, how about jacket collars? Do you have any comment on collars?
Okay, yeah, I do have a comment on a jacket collar. In general, the bigger the collar is, the smaller everything else underneath it looks. So if you're wearing like a winter coat, or I've got a jacket with a collar on today, a collar oftentimes I will peak it a little bit so it frames the face more. It sets you up to look like you have a longer neck. The longer your neck looks, the thinner you look, and a long neck is a sign of beauty, except when it gets a little crepey like mine does, in which case you can take a chip clip and just pull it back and it looks really young. See how that takes the wrinkles away? And yes, I have actually done that. I've worn a chip clip on the back of my neck. Vanity. Oh, anyway, not too terribly comfortable either. But the bigger your collar sits out, the smaller the rest of your body tends to look lower than that collar. So I love big collars. Little collars, everything looks a little bigger. So if you have a big chest and you're wearing a little collar, chances are the chest is going to look a little larger. Maybe you want that too.
Yeah. The other question is, Jill, what was the kind of shoe that you said, the person that type of sandal that had an orthotic? Was there a type of shoe?
Okay. So this is called Taos, Taos, and I believe the name within the Taos line was called Carousel. Okay, but I'm going to put this really close so you guys can see what this looks like. This is one side. This is what the top of it looks like, and this is what the other side looks like. Okay, and these are just fake buttons here. Like I said, this is all Velcro. but there's enough of a dip inside of this that I have had clients get their orthotics and then say they love them because people couldn't see them. It was enough to hide it. So, and I have a lot of foot problems, and I have had great luck with those shoes. And they have a lower heel, and there's ones that have lower heels than that too.
Yeah. Well, Jill, we're out of time. For those of you about Jill's book, I just would say I bought 4 books because I give these as gifts to I have moms and sisters and a future daughter-in-law maybe. And so I just, these are great gifts, I can tell you. So you can buy multiple books on her site with their discount. So do that. I always like to support our authors. You can buy on Amazon, but I think the author does a better deal if you wouldn't support Jill. You can always buy. I'll just say.
Try.
So
we try. Also, I should mention, as you go through, if you're the type of person that likes before and after pictures, this book is chocked full of them. It is so much fun to get inspired by that. And I also wanted to mention that in about, hopefully by the end of this year, here's a good example of a before and after picture. I don't know if you can see or not. By the end of this year, God willing, I will have a Bible study written to go along with this book. So if you're looking for a light Bible study to bring your neighbors to that about looking good both inside and out, I believe it's going to be called Makeover Inside and Out. So I just want to put a shout out for that in case down the line you're thinking, boy, it'd be nice to do this, because in that book is also the importance of inner beauty as well as outer beauty. And that is according to what the Bible says.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Jill, we just want to say thank you so much for being here today. We just love having you. It's just awesome. And everybody, this will be available